Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca Harrell and I'm here to talk to you today about in-person pop-ups. I'm excited and maybe a little bit nervous. I feel more comfortable doing in-person pop-ups than I do online. I want to start off by telling you a little bit about me. I'm a mom of two girls, Lily who is 10 and Miley who is 5. And married to my husband, Jerry, or as my VIP group would say, Jero. I would be lying if I said that my girls didn't love LuLaRoe as much as I do, because they do. We recently cleaned out my younger daughter's closet, and we had to get rid of a bunch of stuff because all she wants to wear is LuLaRoe. I want to thank Rhiannon for giving me this opportunity to share some information with you all about in-person pop-ups. A little bit about myself and my LuLaRoe journey. I started selling LuLaRoe the middle of November. Over 80% of all of my sales have been through in-person pop-ups. I was actually introduced to LuLaRoe by Blair Hamilton, who is my friend, my boss, and my sponsor. She mostly focuses on online sales, and I knew that I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I modeled my business plan around in-person pop-ups and personal styling appointments. Today I'm booked through March, and I've already started booking April appointments. And remember that each person that you come in contact with is a potential customer or host. If you've not already completed the 72-hour game plan, I would strongly recommend doing so. Part of the game plan is to make a list and to contact the people on the list to introduce them to LuLaRoe and see if maybe they're interested in hosting a party. Most of the time, they may be a little bit nervous about it, but if you keep talking to them, they're eventually going to give in and they're going to have a party because they want to earn free stuff. Think about friends and family members, church members, people at your kid's school, co-workers, your hairdresser, sports moms, dance moms. The list can go on and on. Keep in mind that it is also a good idea to promote pop-ups as much as you expect the hostess to promote it. It does not matter if you are in line at the grocery store, running an errand in Target, at a kid's sports game, or just at the park. Don't miss an opportunity to invite someone to a pop-up. The more sales for your hostess, the more likely she is to advertise for you and book another party under you. I'm going to start by going over things I do at pop-ups. Remember to wear all LuLaRoe to a pop-up. Wear something that will be a good seller for you and that looks good on you. Multiple pieces are always great. When helping decide on a time for a pop-up, I normally like to do 1 to 3 or 3 to 5, and I have found that typically 3 to 5 is the best time. It works the best. More people come when it's from 3 to 5, I guess, because that gives them their morning to do other things, and then their afternoon they can shop. Once I book the date, I set up a Facebook event and I make a hostess packet for the party. And a little later, I'll tell you a little bit more about a hostess packet. I post every single day for 5 days up to the event. I tell about the company. I tell about the styles that the company has to offer. I tell how they're able to shop. I tell about size and information. And I always make a point to say that there's no presentation, no magazines, no pressure. You shop what's there and you leave with clothing that you love. And I always say that I have over 1,000 pieces of inventory, and I can promise that they'll love something. I always encourage my hostess to invite as many people as she can. Typically 10 to 20% show up. I remind her that the more people that show up, the more she will sell and the more free clothes that she will get. Sometimes you can do a giveaway, such as bring a friend giveaway. For each friend you bring, you and that friend enter your name into a bucket, and at the end of the party, I will draw a person, and you and that person will get a free pair of leggings. But you have to bring them with you. It can't be somebody that was already at the party. As the date approaches, I order at least a 40-piece order of new inventory so that I have fresh items for my customers who may shop frequently. I have found it's helpful to stay in contact with the host to make sure that she's excited and prepared for her party. For pop-up boutiques, when I take my inventory to them, I take with me my phone, my iPad, or my computer to do my invoicing. I take business cards, sizing cards, care instructions. I also have found that it is very helpful. I have an assistant that helps me occasionally with my pop-ups. When she goes with me, she helps unload, she loads, she helps set up once we get to the party. She helps with sizing. She knows the sizing. She wears LuLaRoe to the party just like I do. It's just always more helpful when she's with me. It seems like things move a lot faster when doing pop-ups with her with me. And then I pay her either with LuLaRoe or with cash. It just all depends. Sometimes she wants cash. Sometimes LuLaRoe works. I show up an hour early to the party. I give my hostess time to look at my inventory and pick items that she wants for herself. We set them to the side. And that way, during the party, that gives her time to actually mingle with her guest versus having to shop. And once the party starts, I introduce each style I carry, the sizing, and then I just step back and I allow them to shop. If they have questions, I answer all questions. I help them pick out outfits. Whatever they may need me for, I help them. And always remember, if you have a party and you have a guest that wants to see how a Cassie skirt looks on, have your hostess to try it on. 9 times out of 10, she has never bought a Cassie either, and if she tries it on, she's going to love it, and so she's going to want one too. Remember to keep up with your mileage. That's a tax write-off. When you go to and from a pop-up, you can write that off. Another way I sell is in-person events. I have a row shack beside of my house, and is a 10 by 20 building. It has all of my inventory in there. I have racks lined up on the walls. I have a dressing room for them to try on. I have a back wall that I use for all of my photographing my inventory, where I go live at. I do basically the same thing. The only difference is if I host it at the row shack, I supply refreshments. And when doing so, I keep in mind things that I don't want all over the clothing. So I normally do like a cookie and some water. It's normally very simple, just something to have. And then the hostess, she would still invite all of her friends to the party. And then the other thing I do is personal shopping appointments. At this appointment, I get to know my customers better. I find out their favorite colors, their favorite styles. If there's a certain part of their body they like to cover up more, I let them try on clothes. We update sizing cards. I find that a lot of customers enjoy the one-on-one attention that they get at a personal styling appointment. I advertise it on my Facebook group and on my profile, asking if anyone is interested. And then, as I briefly mentioned earlier, I provide my hostess a package with info. I will go over some of that with you guys now. The first thing I give them is the size where we keep their sizes on. It's a sizing card for us to mark down all their sizes. This is in their package. And then I give them the return and exchange policy and how to take care of their LuLaRoe. And then this is my favorite sheet of the packet. It's a let's stay in touch form. I like for them to do their name, their email, phone number, birthday, and how they prefer to receive information from me, text, email, or phone. And then over on the back, I always ask them to flip over and write down their favorite styles and their sizes so that whenever I get new inventory in, I can text them, email them, call them, whatever works, to say, hey, I got a new box in and I got medium Irmas if you want to come see what I got new. And a lot of people will come. And for my hostess rewards, what I do is for every 10 items sold at that party, they receive one free item. So for 10 items, they get 1 item, 20 items, they get 2 items, 30 items, 3 items. If they sell 15 items, they get 1 free item and then 50% off another item. And another thing that I also do, and it kind of helps when booking parties, is I offer a free pair of leggings just for being a host. So regardless if you have a party and only one person shows up, I'm still going to give you a free pair of leggings because that gets them to book more. And then for every party booked as a result of the party, I give that person $20 Lula cash to use. And then I ask that my customers, post pictures on my Facebook page. When other customers see it, they may see something they like that they've never tried, and it may send them to shop more. I always play some light music in the background, something very upbeat, nothing very loud, just something that they hear going over in the background. Then I also give them this sheet, and it has all the prices of all the styles that LuLaRoe has on it. And then this also is the how to care for the LuLaRoe. It goes in there. I give them a business card with all of my information on it. And then these are the paper invitations that I give them to pass out because not always do their friends have Facebook. So I type these up and I give them as many as they need. A lot of people ask for 20 to 25. I give them to them, and then they have those to pass out at the party, before the party. And then there's information in there about joining my team. If they love LuLaRoe and they think it's something that they would love to do, I give them information about that and how we can go about it. And that's pretty much the gist of it. And so now I think we have some time for some Q&A if anyone has any questions for me.
So I have some questions, or just so we can go over. So all those forms that you have, where do you get them? Are they in the assets, or did you make those yourself?
Majority of them are in assets, and some of them I made.
Okay. You guys, I have everybody muted, but there's the chat box. You guys can type your questions in the chat box. And if you want to unmute yourself, feel free to unmute yourself. So how do you find the majority of your
I'll be honest. The majority of my hostess are found whenever one person books a pop-up. I generally have 2 to 3 people book under them.
Nice.
It just works. It works great. I just talk it up, and before the party, they talk about, oh my gosh, I would love to have more. And I'm like, well, you can always host a pop-up, and you can get free clothes. And so they book.
So other than giving your hostess packet, what kind of hostess prep do you do, if any?
I normally call her, text her. I always stay in contact. I don't ever just let it go. Normally, I talk to her 2 to 3 times that week before the party, and I talk to her at least once a week leading up, if they book a couple of months in advance or whatever.
has there been anything that you've done that you've like learned maybe doesn't work or maybe works amazing? You know how a lot of our stuff is like trial and error. So do you have any trial and error stories that you could share?
I personally prefer to not take all my inventory to someone's house. I personally prefer if they have it in my row shack just because it's easier and it's all laid out. Each style has a space and that's where it's kept. And then, it's easier whenever it's in my place versus taking it out of their place because a lot of times they don't have the room for a pop-up. However, if it means them not booking a pop-up because they want to do it at their place, I will most definitely take it to them. It's not a problem.
Okay, let's see. How do you get them to book? At our pop-ups, people love the clothes but can't seem to get them to close a deal and choose a date. Do you offer the person booking a new party any incentives?
Whenever I have a party and I have someone that's like my host, I'll tell her before the party, I'll say, if we can get somebody to book a party off of you, I'll give you Lula cash to use at her party, but you have to use it at her party. And then 9 times out of 10, she helps me get them to book because she wants free Lula cash to use. So she kind of helps me.
So earlier you said that you give $20 Lula cash for each party booked. So is that the cash you're talking about? That $20 is at her party?
Yes, she has to use it at the party booked under hers.
Okay, so it's not during that existing party.
It's used at the next party.
Awesome. Let's see if I can. Anybody else have any questions? I'll try to think of some good ones too.
Okay.
And
Go ahead, Lindsay.
so you said that you don't take all your inventory. What do you decide? Like, how do you decide what you take and what you don't?
No, I do take it all. I just don't like to have to take it to other places. I prefer whenever they have it in my row shack.
Right.
I do take everything, even if I don't take everything I have in every size. I take some in every size.
Okay.
So maybe I take 3 extra small maxis and 3 small maxis versus taking 10 extra small maxis and 10 small maxis.
Makes
I
sense.
take
Okay.
something that I feel like would sell.
And I have my first pop-up that I'm actually in-home pop-up that I'm doing on the 25th of February. And she actually lives 2 hours south of me, so I'm going to be driving to her house. As far as like the invites and stuff, are the invites in assets as well, where I can just kind of get them printed out and then email them to her so then she can print them out and give them?
They are. Typically what I do is I type them up for my host. I print them out and then I mail them to her in the mail.
Okay.
And I always send a business card. Even though she got one in the hostess packet, I still send her another one in case she's misplaced it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
During the pop-up, what do you typically do? So do you stand off to the side? Do you talk and?
I talk to customers and like just say I have somebody that's never tried a perfect and maybe that day I'm wearing a perfect and they say, oh, I love your perfect. Then I try to coach them into trying on a perfect. I would say normally that's not a style that I would like, but now I found that I love it. It's my favorite now. Just things like that. I never stand off. I always try to mingle.
Okay. Do you have any tried true ways of upselling?
No, not really.
Or any way, how do you get people to try outfits? So a lot of times people will like look and they see things and they're like, oh, I couldn't wear that. Or, do you have any tips or tricks to get them to get over that fear of trying it?
Whenever I always tell them that when I first started wearing LuLaRoe, I would only wear solids on bottoms and printed tops. And now they all laugh whenever they talk to me because now I'll pattern mix. And they'll be like, oh, I can't do that. That's too much. And then they'll come back in a week and they'll be like, oh my gosh, you were so right. Now I love the patterns. It looks so good together. So if they ask me to help them make an outfit, I always try to do, if they're new, I try to do maybe a printed bottom and a solid top if it's something I have. If not, then I would try to put a print and a print. Sometimes they like it. Sometimes they don't. It just all depends the person.
how long do you book your in-person? So when you do a styling appointment, how long do you set aside for each styling appointment?
Basically, normally I try to do like maybe one on a Saturday or one on a Friday night. I don't try to book them back to back just because each person is different. It may take me longer than it takes Lindsay or you. It just all depends on that person. But
Okay.
typically they're 30, 45 minutes to an hour.
What days of the week have you found are best for in-person pop-ups?
Saturdays.
Okay.
I have done several on Sundays. I feel that Saturdays are the best days, and 3 to 5, that's the best time that I've found.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? How do you organize your leggings? That's always a hot one.
My racks are metal racks where I hang all my inventory, and on top of them is where I have all of my leggings. However, I have considered changing it. I've considered getting metal rolling carts and rolling them up and stacking them in that. I just am a little unsure. I want to try to do something that I know is going to work.
So when it comes to like room constraints, how do you deal with that when you show up to a house that maybe is smaller than you expect? Or
I just make the best of it. I do what I have to do. If it means piling stuff on top of each other. I went to one pop-up, and the lady, she had a very small area, and I had Maxis and Cassies, Irmas, Perfects, Classics, leggings, and I have a pretty big kids line, of course, because that's what my daughters love. I carry it, and I sell a ton of kids. So I stacked it on top of each other. I had my totes with everything in it, and then if they needed a certain size, I helped them find them, just things like that.
how do you transport all of your inventory if you're doing it at their house?
In totes.
Okay. So do you hang it when you get there, or you keep
No.
everything in totes?
No, I keep everything in totes on the hangers, and then I lay it out.
Okay. What kind of
I've
tote?
actually thought about buying some rolling racks. I just haven't decided fully.
What kind of totes do you use?
Just like the clear totes with the lids.
Okay. The like Rubbermaid containers.
I have these racks right here that are rolling racks that I usually use temporarily right now as my racks. These break down really simply. Would this be just as easy if somebody has the room in their house to just take these? Because that's what I was planning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lindsay, what kind are those? Z racks? Here,
I don't
let's
know.
see if
They're just like, I don't know if you can see, the bottoms are they're rolling racks. Like I don't have the rollers on them, the casters on them, or the wheels really, but they're just rolling single rack, like not the double.
Yeah, I mean, when I do in homes, I just use whatever racks I have.
Okay. Yeah, I think that those are probably the same ones as like the rolling racks from Target. I got mine from Amazon, but I'm sure they're the same.
Are those the Deco Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the racks that I originally started out with, and I took those to pop-ups and had good success. So, I mean, it takes a little bit of work because you have to put them up and take them down, but they're not terrible to do.
I don't have the wheels on them because the wheels smell terribly, and I didn't want that around my clothes. But I figured it'd just be as easy because I have the Fratka bags from IKEA that I just zip everything up in those bags and then take everything off. I have a pilot, and I just put everything in. This is what I'm assuming is going to happen. I actually have no idea, but that's my plan, is then put them in the bags and then break these down, pop them back up, put them back on. So
yeah, those bags are awesome.
Okay, good. I haven't tried them yet. I'm a little nervous.
I haven't used the Fracka ones. I used the LuLaRoe ones, which are, I mean, it's essentially the same thing. And they worked really well. So it was nice. Did anybody else have any questions for Rebecca?
Good to know.
I know the Fracka, and IKEA's like trying to get rid of them, I think, or like they're just not as common. I don't know. All these LuLaRoe people might change that.
Right.
Let's see. Rebecca, if somebody tells you that they don't want to host because they don't know anybody or don't have any friends, do you have anything that you tell them to kind of sway their opinion?
I normally say, if you have a party and it's only 5 people, it's better than having nothing. And typically those 5 people are going to buy at least a pair of leggings. So if nothing else, you're still going to get half off of an item. I actually have a girl that has booked a party for the end of this month, and she's not from here, but she loves the clothing and she wanted to do a party. And a couple of weeks after she booked, she said, I think I want to cancel just because my sister lives out of state and I don't really know anybody that's going to come. And I said, to be sure, that her daughter dances. I said, to be sure, if you invite some of the friends from dance and your coworkers, somebody's going to come to your party. I said, and it don't matter if it's just me and you, if it's just us, we'll just see what styles you like best and what fits you best, and we'll go from there.
Okay, let's see. What do you do if you live in a town where there's a lot of consultants? In my town, it's really hard to book in homes because there are so many of us, and people already have pop-ups booked with somebody else. Have you encountered that?
No, because there's really no consultants in my town.
Kate, I would say just keep trying. Take those business cards with you and pass out 10 a day. I mean, eventually you're going to run into people who don't know what LuLaRoe is.
Right.
Because there's still so many people out there that have no idea what they call it. What do they call it? LuLaRoe?
LuLaRoe, yes.
So just keep swimming. You got it. Yeah, just get out there, find some mommy groups. I tell people go on to meetup.com and like find whatever your interests are. If you have kids, which I know Kate does, you can find some like homeschooling meetups. You can find kids meetups. You can find networking meetups. Get out there and like find a new group of people. Go where people gather, like Deanne says. Make friends with other consultants and maybe share events on occasions. That's a great idea, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Yep. Just go where the people are. Just keep trying. Because there are people, and once you can break into a new like network of people, that kind of just branches you out even further. So you just have to keep on keeping on, I guess. All right, let's see. Any other questions? Trying to think of some for you guys. Do you guys remember hearing she started in November? So one of the reasons why I really wanted Rebecca to be on this call was because things were much different when I started LuLaRoe, and a lot of you guys, I mean, I've heard it before. Things are much different a year ago than they are now. So Rebecca's in the same spot that a lot of you guys are. She's been in just as long. She's dealing with the same challenges, the same everything. So that's why I really wanted her to come on, because she can give you guys a different perspective than maybe I would, because my customer base has really been, it's been built and has been growing for so much longer. So if you guys have any questions, this is a great time to kind of talk amongst each other and kind of figure out how to do things in a way that works really well for you, because you guys are all on the same playing field.
I have another question. Sorry.
Okay.
So you said that you're booked until March. What is that to you? Like, is that free a week? Is that one a weekend? Is that 2 a weekend? Like, what does that look like to you?
That's at least one a weekend, and there's several weekends. I have one on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
And I've already started booking into April.
Awesome. I just have
Go ahead. You can go ahead. It's fine.
I have a lot of friends that are down in Tucson, which is, like I said, 2 hours south of me.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like, I mean, I don't mind driving that far because I don't mind driving, but I feel like it's funny because a lot of the people around me haven't really been interested in booking in homes, but I have a lot of people down in Tucson that are wanting to book, and it's just like, okay, I almost don't want to be away every single weekend, like
right.
that away. but at the same time, I don't want to give up that opportunity. So is
Right.
there ever a time where you're just like, maybe not this weekend? Or
I had originally told my husband that I would always leave one weekend open, but now I don't do that. Typically, whatever we do after my pop-up on Saturday night.
or Sundays, if you don't take a lot of pop-ups on Sunday,
Yeah.
at least one day a week.
Yeah,
Okay.
generally I don't take a lot on Sunday. Generally, it's just on Saturdays.
Lindsay, if you have a lot of people in one area, especially if you're driving 2 hours, I recommend trying to get them all in one day.
Yeah, that's what we're kind of doing now.
Or try to do a couple, do some morning, give yourself an hour or two break so you're not feeling as rushed. I know Anna Altman recently has done like 2 and 3 in one day. So if you ever need any pointers, I'm sure Anna Altman can help. But I mean, that's how Deanne built her business, doing her dress parties. She used to book like 3 or 4 a day, and she just kind of went and did all these things. I mean, crazy. I couldn't imagine. That's a workout, but
It is. It's a lot.
but if you're going to be 2 hours, it doesn't make as much sense to, drive down there every week, bang it all out at once. But
Yeah, and then you could do that like time frame where like 10 to 1 and then 3, or 10 to 11 to 1 and then 3 to 5 or whatever.
yeah. And make sure to keep track, like Rebecca said, I think it's like 50 cents a mile or something you get to deduct. So really take advantage of it. We actually have, we got these little notebooks. They're about this big, and we keep them in, John and I have one in each of our cars. And so every time we get in the car to do anything LuLaRoe related, we write down our mileage. So we always write down the mileage that we started and the mileage that we stopped and the date and where we went. Because at the end of the year, it'll really help come tax time.
Yeah.
And why not pay for your gas, right?
Right. Oh, yeah, especially in a pilot.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Catherine would like to know, how long do you usually schedule your pop-ups for? An hour and a half, 2 hours?
2 hours, 3 hours. I've never done one over 3 hours.
Okay. Lindsay, Jenny said to get somebody to help you. 2 parties in one day is a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, and especially, I just feel bad because like my first one's with my friends and she has a baby, so she doesn't mind me bringing, but I have 2. I have an older one too. So it's like, I almost feel like it's going to be harder because I want to make sure people are okay with me bringing them because I don't have childcare.
Yeah. But one of the things I love about this business is that we could be so mom and family friendly. I mean, imagine it though, like what percentage of your customers are parents?
Most of them.
And if they're not parents, they're probably aunts or something. So I think if you're open with them and you let them know, and if you have somebody along with you to help out,
Right.
It won't be as big a deal because your attention is still able to be on the party and on the guests.
Right.
So I think, I would definitely ask them up front, but I wouldn't be as concerned. Baby's welcome. I mean, oftentimes kids show up to these pop-ups anyways.
Right.
So,
My daughters, 9 times out of 10, they're always with me. And they wear LuLaRoe, and we normally sell kids' clothes while we're there.
And I think, you kind of want it to be a child-friendly environment because you're going to have those moms that are in that predicament that maybe the dad is working and they have to have the kids. And if it's not a kid-friendly environment, then they're just not going to come anyways.
Right.
So, that's kind of the atmosphere that you kind of want to build anyways, so that everybody that wants to come can come. And that's kind of one excuse that doesn't need to be had. So. All right, ladies, any other questions for Miss Rebecca?
And if anyone has any questions after this, they are welcome to message me, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Will you send me just a quick list of everything that's in your hostess packet?
Yes.
And I'll go through and type something up so that we can put that out on the team page just so people can kind of reference back to it.
Yes, I'll send that to you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, ladies, I guess we'll call this a day. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for
Welcome.
having us and for giving us all of your information. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I will be on the cruise next week along with a bunch of our leaders. So please make sure if you guys have any questions or concerns, reach out to your sponsors and then go up your upline from there. But try to give us a little bit of time to respond back to you if we are indeed on the cruise, because there's a bunch of Dreamweavers going to be cruising next week.
Woohoo.
All right. Bye, you guys. Have a wonderful weekend.